Serina. I do fashion design and Chinese painting and calligraphy. I started fashion design when I joined diploma for apparel design and merchandising at Temasek Poly, and then subsequently I went to do my bachelor's at LaSalle for fashion design and textiles, where I majored in textile making. Starting my own brand was quite interesting, and I found it quite a big learning experience because there are some stuff that I imagined beforehand, and then when I'm actually doing it, then it's a lot different. And like, for example, talking with like the factories and the seamstresses, I think like those are quite a big learning opportunity. I decided to incorporate Chinese painting and calligraphy into my design because I've always practiced Chinese painting and calligraphy since I was young. So it's quite a big part of my life, and I always wanted to do both at the same time. So my fashion design works are actually interdisciplinary in Chinese painting and calligraphy and fashion. So like the principles of Chinese painting and calligraphy are applied onto the garments, and they are designed with like the Chinese painting canvas in mind, so they can be hung on the wall as wall hanging art. So my design process always starts with a concept in mind. So I normally go for like poetries or inspirations on literatures, etc. And then from there, I like to start with textile making. So for these two pieces, this one was a hand-painted piece that I did, and then I scanned it digitally and printed it on Tencel fabric. And then it started off with a rectangular drape, and then it sort of like draped onto the body, and I was inspired by a Chinese painting like canvas, so just a rectangular shape. And then I feel that sometimes a very simple geometric shape can form differently on the body, and I think I quite like how it drapes onto the body, and I think it has like it's quite flattering on the sides as well. And then for this piece, it's actually inspired by a Chinese painting scroll. Like if you've seen like the scroll that you put brushes on, so each piece is stripped and then it is placed together and then stitched together. So I quite like this design for how it can be worn and styled differently, and you could also flip it over to have the raw edges shown. And this one is actually one of my hand-painted suits because the others are still in production. So I like to focus on small details. For example, on this side, I like to stitch them together so the raw edges is outside, just so it looks a little bit like paper. So there's like the Xian paper, rice paper sort of feel to it. And then this rectangular piece was actually inspired by Chinese couplets, where you see during Chinese New Year, the Dui Lian. And then they can be worn as a cowl top. So you put your head through here, and then the other two will be at the side, and you can also wear it as a vest, like this. So it has multiple wearing options, and if someone is adventurous in terms of their home styling, they could open the whole thing up and then it could be hung on the wall. As a young designer, I think some of the challenges I face is perhaps like to be taken more seriously, especially with like liaising with like factories and stuff, because I look like a student. Yeah, so I think that, and also because I'm new to this, so I think a lot of stuff, there's quite a lot to learn as well. I see the future of fashion perhaps going digital. Like in the faraway future, like most of us would have like an avatar online, and then I think there's a huge market there. But I think in the near future, as of now, it's always like evolving, and I see a lot of like interesting gimmicks in fashion shows, and I find those very interesting. And I think it's always very interesting to see what people come up with next. Come see my collection and experience what it's like to be young and free at Design Orchard.